Hello students, we're going to do a little mini lesson. So by this point, y'all have already done some work on Odysseyware if you are a COLA student. So this is going to be just adding into what you've already done. And if you are an at-home learner right now, then this is brand new. So I'm going to write two numbers on the board, fractions. So think about what each of these fractions represent. What do the numerator and the denominator tell you about the fractions? So this is 1/10 and this is 1/100. So I am going to make, and you're going to have this link. I'm going to make this out of 10. We're going to start there. So 1 out of 10. So if I were to make 1 out of 10, does everyone see this is 1 out of 10, 1/10? Then the fraction is 1/10. We're looking at the green or the orange. There's the percentage, 10% out of 100. And then again, that's 1/10. So this represents 1/10. Now let's change it out of 100. 1/100. So what do you notice about this model? This right here. 1/100. Which one would you say is greater? 1/10 or 1/100? So think about that. Now, obviously from our picture, 1/100 looks much smaller than our 1/10, correct? Now, how could you show 1/10 when there are 100 squares on your grid? So say I wanted to make it 100, so it's all out of 100. How could I show 1/10 right here? How could I show 1/10 on a 100 grid? Does anybody know? I'm going to move my little camera so we can look at it. Okay, so these are broken apart into groups of 10. 10 groups of 10 give me 100, right? So if this 1 gives me 100, then I can hold it down. This gives me 1/10. Now, technically, 1/10 is equal to 10 hundredths. Do you see that? This is like having 1 10 rod, but I also have 10 hundredths. So 1/10 is equivalent to 10 hundredths. And here's 10 hundredths right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 100. So this is just like equivalent fractions. 1/10, if I just multiply this by 10 tenths, that gives me 10 hundredths. Awesome. Okay, so now what if I wanted you to show me what 3/10 was on your grid? So think about it. How could I make this out of 100 or hundredths? You guessed it. I'm going to shade in 3 out of the 10. So that is the same thing as 30. If I were to count these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So 3/10 is equivalent to 30 hundredths. Okay, so I want you to just at your home, I want you to tell me what could 4/10 be equivalent with the denominator of 100, and what could 6/10. So pause me and figure those two problems out. Okay, so you're back. Let's start over. That's how you start over if you didn't know. So my first one was 4/10. So again, could I do it this way? Yes, I could. Uh-oh, I missed one. So I'm going to show you. It'll let me, hold on. There we go. Okay, so 4 tenths is the same thing as 40 hundredths, because if I counted each of these individually, they equal up to 40. But also, can you see 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 10? Okay, so did you get that one right? I hope so. And then the next one, 6 tenths. I'm just going to keep this model here. Keep just missing one. Is equivalent to 60 hundredths. Okay. Now, let's look at this. What if I wrote, let's just practice one more time. What if I wrote 9 tenths? Could you make one more? Pause me and tell me, what is that equivalent to? You guessed it. 9 tenths is equivalent to 90 hundredths. So all you're doing is multiplying by 10 tenths. But I want to relate this to money. So if I were to have 9 dimes, so if I had 9 dimes, so I had to pull this up. All right, I already have 2 dimes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I have 9 dimes. Do you see that? That's 9 out of the 10 dimes that would make $1. Well, it already shows you right here. How much does each dime represent? 10. So let's count. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 hundredths. So 9 tenths, if I had 9 dimes in my hand, is equivalent to 90 hundredths. Now, I know we don't deal with change that much, but it's still a good tool. Now, there is a video that is linked on here that I wanted you to watch, and it is Brain Pop about decimals. So make sure that you watch that. And then we're going to talk about, now I'm saying a lot of words like tenths and thousandths and hundredths, which we don't deal with thousandths in 4th grade, but I wanted to show you what that meant. Here we go. So here's a place value chart. Now, in the beginning of the year, y'all worked on just understanding place value. So in 3rd grade, you worked to the thousands place. That's whole amounts. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Okay. Now in 4th grade, we went up to 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions. And we worked on understanding what the place meant and also what the value means. Now we're moving on. We have been in our fraction unit for a while, and now we get to talk about what these fractions mean in the place value chart. So I'm going to make this a little bigger. Excuse my writing. So that's a decimal, okay? Anything to the right of the decimal is a fraction. Now, the easiest way for us to remember this is through change. So say I have this right here. I'm going to show you, sorry, this is way harder than it looks. I'm going to make this a little fatter. Sorry. Here we go. Oh, not as pretty as I thought it was. Okay, so I have my little dot right here, my decimal. And I wanted to make it darker, but I couldn't. So I have 5 tenths. So just like we were talking about when I was writing on my whiteboard, 5 tenths is the same thing as 5 tenths. So that's like if I had 5 dimes, I'm going to refresh this. Throw this all away. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 5 tenths. But I wouldn't say, here, everyone, I have 5/10, right? You want to know the value of it, right? So how much would that be? If I had 5 dimes, what would that be equivalent to? Well, that would be equivalent to 50 cents. So 5/10 can also be shown as 50 hundredths. Do you see that right there? It's not hundreds right there where that is a whole amount. This is a fraction. So when you are comparing, and we're going to be doing that with decimals and fractions, you can figure out pretty quickly that if you have something in tenths and it has a denominator of 10, it also has an equivalent part to hundredths. Now, where we see a lot of mistakes for students is when you get this. I'm going to show you. Okay, so say that I have 3 hundredths. Do you see that right there? A lot of students will say, oh, 3 hundredths is the same thing as 3/10. All right, let me show you. Here is 3 hundredths. Also, I can show you this way. I don't know why I can't delete this. Oh, there we go. Let's see if I can delete all these really quick. I'm sure there is an easier way. Y'all just let me know. Okay, so 3 hundredths. That is 3 pennies. That means I am very far away from a dollar. Very far away from a whole dollar of 100 hundredths. I only have 3. Okay? So the value of this, what is the value of if you had 3 pennies? The value is 3 hundredths. 3 cents. Right here. $0, 0 tenths, and 3 hundredths. That is much different than 3/10. Do you see right there? 3/10 is equivalent to 30 hundredths. So if I were to have that many pennies, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yikes-ola. That is much higher than just those measly little 3/10, right? Or 3 hundredths, excuse me. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I hope so. So I wanted to warn y'all because a lot of students would say that this is equivalent to 3/10, but this is not. This is 3 pennies compared to 3/10 or 30 hundredths. Do you see the difference there? All right, thanks for going along with my little mini lesson for decimals, and we're going to continue on with decimals and fractions and how they are related, and especially with our number lines. And please watch the Brain Pop on decimals. Bye, guys.